This episode of The Edge is brought to you by Audible.com, offering more than 180,000 titles for smartphone, tablet, and desktop. To get a free audiobook of your choice and help Trek.fm at the same time, visit audibletrial.com/trekfm. And also by Enterprise in Space, an international program of the nonprofit National Space Society. Find out how you can help science and education and become a virtual crew member aboard the NSS Enterprise Orbiter by visiting enterpriseinspace.org. And if you want to join the conversation and share your thoughts on this episode, join the Babel Conference, our listeners group on Facebook. Just type BABEL into the Facebook search field. We look forward to seeing you there.
You're listening to Trek FM.
What have you done out there on the edge of Federation space?
Started. We're live.
Live from the edge. It's Friday night.
See, you just did it yourself.
Oh, there was Don Pardo. It was so great. I thought he passed away, but
who knew? Now let's get him to say Lorraine Newman. That was my favorite one. That was the best name he said. So the best way he said a name.
I love Don Pardo. I mean,
Don Pardo was great.
I'm glad he lasted so long. He was great. He was a classic. Oh, Saturday Night Live. I just loved him. He was great.
Legend.
Anyway. Oh, hi, everyone. Welcome to Live from the Edge. And this is covering Season 2, Episode 3 of Point of Light. I'm Bruce Gibson, just one of your hosts. And with me, as she always is Brandi Jackola. How you doing, Brandi?
I am great. Yeah, I'm great.
Okay, great.
How are you, Bruce?
I'm just great.
Fantastic.
They're great. And with us is our guest co-host, Tris. See, I'm messing up your name. Chris Trebuzio. How you doing?
Great.
Great. He's our Don Pardo of the show. That's who you heard earlier on the show was Chris. Or in this show, his name is Tris.
For purposes of this podcast, yes.
You're just Tris. It's easier because, that's the first initial of your last name put on the first part of your first name. And so now it's Tris.
Yeah, like Stilly.
Yeah, exactly. Except the other way around.
The other way around, right. Hey, and who else we have on the show are all the people in our chat.
And it is so active already.
I don't even think we need this show anymore. I think we should just get people to go and read the chat because that's a whole show in itself right there.
It is. It truly is.
I haven't even started reading what's in here yet.
I can't keep up.
I can't either.
It's already like 3 pages long.
Hey, everyone in the chat, say hi because, we're not going to read what you wrote previously. So if you said something really good, say it again because we don't have time to catch up.
No, we don't. I'm sorry. We've only got an hour, folks.
We do. So let's get right into it. Let's get to the point with
light.
Of light. Yes. Hey, everyone's saying hi in the chat now. Hi, hello, yes.
We've got to go to Mordor now. Thanks, Dave. We've got a fellowship.
So, hey, Chris, I don't know if everybody knows really who you are. Give us just a little background about you're a patron here of the network, for sure.
For sure, yeah. I'm a patron of the network. I'm the one of the many associate producers of The Edge. I'm also the associate producer of Warp 5, or as some people call it, Fart 5.
Hey, shut up. I never called it Fart 5.
I haven't heard that one.
But Storm Fart, sorry. So anyways,
don't you do that.
No, I've been a Trek fan most of my adult life. I know it came out when I was a teenager back in the 80s. I was more interested in girls than sci-fi. And then as I later on got into it, I got into Deep Space Nine more than all the other series. And I got into Enterprise, and I got into the rest, and now Discovery. So.
Excellent. I kind of feel like I hear a TV in the background. Is someone watching something? It's perfectly fine.
No, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I thought I heard something because I was going to say, hopefully it's Star Trek.
Somebody's watching last night's episode as we speak.
Yeah, I kind of was, but then I shut the TV off, so it's probably, I don't know what's going on, but.
Okay, so how many times have you watched this episode, Chris?
I fell asleep during the first one, but it's not because of the episode. It was because it was a very long day for me. But then I woke up 6 hours later and decided to watch it again. And I just got through pretty much 20 minutes of it now in this rewatch. So.
Okay. All right, Brandi, how many times have you watched it? It's only been 24 hours. 2 times?
2 times. In full. Okay. How about you, Bruce?
I watched it 3 times, which surprises the heck out of me because I didn't watch it last night. I wanted to, but we had a recording of Literary Treks that had interfered with that. And I had several late nights and I just, I've been traveling and such. And I just couldn't stay up late. So I got up in the morning and watched it. And when I got home from work, I watched it again. And then my wife got home. And she wanted to watch it. So I just finished watching it the 3rd time. I see Rhea H in the chat 3 times also. Yeah, I'm just curious, everybody else in the chat, how many times have you watched it? Because it's only been, 24 and a half hours since that episode dropped. So there's a Justin says twice so far. That, isn't that amazing that we've seen the episodes multiple times and it's only been out for a day?
Yeah, well, I feel like there are always things that I miss when watching it for the first time. And when I rewatch it, which I have more time to do right now because of the show being on Friday instead of a Monday, I like to, I don't know, it's just, I feel more comfortable watching it a second time because I know what's going to happen in the main plot and I can focus on other aspects and little, things that I didn't notice the first time that I watched it. And I picked up a lot the second time because I was kind of stressed out when I watched it the first time. And there were sadly quite a few things that I missed that I saw the second time that just tickled me pink in a lot of cases. So I like watching it that way. I noticed when we were doing short treks, we would do this live episode immediately after. And so we'd only get to see the episode once. And I remember then rewatching it after our live show and I was picking up on stuff. I was like, gosh, man, I hate going live on the show and not knowing everything like as well as I do if I watch it multiple times. Like, for example, watching Point of Light, and I do this with other episodes, I watch it with the closed captioning on the second time because now I'm reading it because that helps me to retain even more information by reading what the closed captioning says. Because sometimes I might misunderstand something the first time that they say it, but when I see it in writing, it sticks with me. Yeah. Hey, and Beta Artemis 5 times. 5 times. What? How did you have time to watch it 5 times? That's just incredible. I'm jealous. Me too.
Yeah.
I want that kind of time.
Man. Well, so let's get right down into it. Point of Light. We start off with Tilly jogging, and she's wearing a new disco shirt.
She is wearing a new disco shirt, which has immediately become available for sale on the CBS store.
Really? Has it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not joking.
Oh, wow. Because I was going to say, it's another opportunity for new merchandise, and it's already out there.
Oh, they were so ready. They were so ready. I got the email yesterday. From CBS, the CBS store. Yeah. They send me emails daily, but this one was just like, hey, want to be part of the captain? What do they call it? I'm having trouble with words. I've also had a very long week. Basically on the captain track.
Gotcha. So I get those emails too. I just hadn't looked at that one yet. So
surprise.
So when did you order the shirt then?
I haven't ordered it yet because honestly, I have not had 5 minutes of time to myself since Sunday.
Okay. So. Well, that's perfectly fine. Hey, Chris, we're going to give Brandi 5 minutes to herself right now here on the show.
Ready?
She can just sit there. Go. Okay. So, Chris, talking about this episode, Tilly jogging, and then there's her friend May, and she's like, hi, Stilly, how are you? And all this stuff. So what'd you think of that opening scene with Tilly and May?
Well, first of all, I love the opening scene, especially the part where the computer tells everybody, hey, stay out of the way. There's a mad rush of people coming behind you. It's not often that you get to hear something like that. I didn't know, Oh, hi, Alexa. How are you? Okay. So.
Oh, Alexa is joining the show.
Yeah.
Have Alexa go into the chat. See, this is why I love live shows. So Alexa can go into the chat and discuss.
Okay. So
but anyway, you were saying.
So anyways, we get to finally know that by episode 2 that it is a figment of Tilly's imagination. So seeing that, and I thought it was pretty weird, but then again, I thought it was oh so Tilly for something like this, or something like that scene. I mean, put yourself in her shoes, and you just automatically see somebody out of the blue that's a figment of your imagination. What would you do?
Exactly. And you're questioning yourself. It's
Sure.
like, I know this person isn't real, and May even says, no one can see me but you. Yeah. And so you're thinking, okay, this can't be true. And by the way, if you're in Starfleet, in my opinion, a lot of these things you have to question. Oh, well, this could be an alien. This could be something, because there's always strange things going on out there in space. But what, Brandi? No, you still
I was just going to say, I did say, I don't think I said this on the last live, but I had said it to Dave, that I turned to him and I said, that is an alien trying to communicate.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Because we've been on more Starfleet missions than this crew has, honestly.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
Then we have them on the bridge. Tilly's on the bridge, and all of a sudden she starts what almost looks like she's yelling at Pike when she's like, shut up. And Saru's like,
and even Tilly. At that point, that's again, that figment still follows you, but to everybody else, you're just insane because they don't see what you see. And how do you bounce back from that? I mean, you can't just say, oh, sorry, didn't mean you, especially when you're talking to someone of a higher caliber like Captain Pike.
Yeah, well, what upset me about that was that everyone was so willing to believe that Tilly was losing her mind, except for maybe a select few. But it's just the way that the rest of the bridge crew was looking at her. And I thought, really? No one's going to give her the benefit of the doubt? But, I'm used to that kind of behavior myself, so it's kind of in line with how Tilly is still being seen by a lot of the crew.
And I can understand your point, too. How many times have we sat there in our office cubicles or just walking around, even in the supermarket, and end up talking to yourself, and people just look at you kind of weird. And you're like, oh, sorry, no, not you. I was talking to myself. That's
Brandi, I don't do that. Do you do that? I think Chris is the only one who walks around talking to himself. Chris, I think you have issues.
I never talk to myself.
I only have issues if I answer myself. That's the problem. I can talk to myself all the time. It's answering myself that makes me psychotic.
I sure don't do that ever.
I talk to myself at work because nobody else will talk to me.
Insert ready?
Shirt ordered.
I was like, nobody will talk to me. I just need to go home and do a podcast.
Not even my wife. Not even my wife. Walk in the door. Hi, honey. How was your day? You don't want to know. You're right. I don't. Please understand.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Shirt ordered. So we're all good.
Did you really just order it? Seriously?
I absolutely really just ordered it.
Really?
Do you want to see the order confirmation?
Yes, I do.
will show you.
What is the little symbol next to the D? I didn't really get a good look at that. What is it?
It's the Delta. It's the Disco Delta.
Oh, I see.
You can't even see it with the camera, can you? Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, there I see it. Yeah, you placed an order.
Yes, I did.
Wow. Could you order one for me and Chris too?
Dude, I'm not made of money. My husband works for the federal government. Come on.
Okay, so did you order one for Bruce and me, or what? Let's get to the point here.
You can order your own dang shirt, fellas.
Well, it's not like you're going to pay for that. Anyway, let's just go on. Brandi fell down.
Brandi down.
Total
Brandi
technology
down.
fail.
Alexis, please save Brandi.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Brandi down.
Sorry.
Brandi down.
Brandi down. Hey, we're going to jump all over this episode because I want to read some things here in the chat real quick. So Becky 2010 Abel says, it is hard to see that Federation ideals aren't enough to keep the peace. So we have Section 31. Section 31. I think we knew that we were going to probably get that in this episode, or at least soon. What are your thoughts on Section 31? Because the way Section 31 was introduced in Deep Space Nine, this is an organization that really nobody knows anything about, yet now we can just show badges and go, oh, yeah, like Ash Tyler's like, oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, Section 31. I've heard of those badges, just never saw one.
Well, it was probably a rumor sort of thing. So there are often rumors about Section 31, and every once in a while, something turns out to be true. But very rarely do people actually get that confirmation, because chances are they're dead by Section 31's hand.
Yeah.
If you've seen the badge, you're either in Section 31 or you're about to be killed by someone from Section 31.
Well, that's a thing that's been debated, a controversy in the Star Trek fan universe, and that is, really, if you're Section 31, would you go around wearing badges? Now, we're not seeing Georgia wearing the badge. She just carries it in her pocket like I carry my keys. But it's a keychain. Oh, that would be cool. Oh my gosh, I want a keychain of this. That way, when people ask me something, I just pull it up and I just show it to them. Like, you know, I'm badass or something. But we did see the black badges on episode 3 of season 1. There were people standing there in the corridor wearing those badges.
Yep.
So I wonder if people on Discovery knew, oh, those are Section 31 guys over there.
Well, I think that the higher ups knew, but anytime anyone lower rank said anything about it, they were just basically either not answered or shut down, or maybe they disappeared from the ship. I don't know.
Well, originally, Giorgio introduced herself as being a Starfleet security consultant.
Yes.
So maybe not people are telling, oh, I'm Section 31, Charter 14, Section 31.
Yeah, no, of course they're not, because that's their cover story, is that, they're secure. I loved the actually really fake smile she had on her face as she was so politely saying that.
I like how she looked at the baby and
I know!
caught her.
That was the best! That was the best! I didn't catch that the first time, and I saw it the second time, and I'm just like, oh, my heart. Because it was just, it's like she couldn't help herself.
She has a soft, caring spot to her.
She does. She does. She's more like the Prime Universe Giorgio than she would like to admit. That
is true. So, Chris, do you like the Section 31 storyline in this?
Okay, so here's my thing on Section 31. It's the futuristic mob. You don't, anybody, you watch all these mob series, whatever, they don't tell you they're in a mob. They don't, like you said, they don't wear name badges that say, hello, my name is Mickey No-Nos. They don't say that.
Right.
So they shouldn't, they're not supposed to exist. But now they do. And it's been so clandestine from TOS up until Deep Space Nine. So we're looking at 200 years, but now it comes about in the 22nd century or 23rd century now, where they're more prominent now than ever. So the question is, when is it that they go into hiding?
Yes, that's what I was wondering too, because there you have the badge. Oh my gosh, you're not in hiding anymore. Chris is part of Section 31. Hey, put some keys on there. Make it a keychain. But that's what I was wondering too. They must at some point go into hiding. And this is what I was thinking earlier today when I was driving to work, because I have nothing else better to do. And I was thinking they at some point go into hiding, and I would assume that people only within Starfleet and members of the Federation might know Section 31, but nobody in the public knows. And then when they go into Starfleet Academy, Section 31 has buried it, so future cadets and officers of Starfleet aren't trained about Section 31. So by the time we get to Deep Space Nine, they're like, never heard of Section 31. Well, yeah, because it's been buried and no longer taught. And yeah. So there's always ways you can work this.
And that's the thing about Trek, in general, is that there's always a loop back to something.
Yeah.
Be it, TOS, be it TNG or whatever it is. It's always a loop back to something, and it's something is created from that point and goes on a tangent. And Section 31 is this tangent that we come across now with season 2. So.
Well, surprise, surprise, Justin Ozer says the Section 31 novels are great. And I know Justin has read those. So I'm glad he went there because I was going to try to get through the show without saying literary treks. But on literary treks, we have covered the Section 31 books. And I just want to mention that at the end of this episode, on the ship for Section 31, they mentioned about control. I can't remember the exact line, but something about Control had contacted the ship. And there is a novel that David Mack released about, was it a year ago? Something like that, called Section 31 Control. And it is an awesome book. Now, from what I understand, someone tweeted to me that in Trek BBS, he said that's just a coincidence that they say Control, and it's not related to his book, but I think it does work. So if anybody's interested, read the book Control, Section 31 Control by David Mack. It's an excellent book, and I think this ties in really well with what we saw. It would give you a lot of depth into Section 31. I'm just plugging that right now. And I see in here, Beta Artemis says that Pike certainly knows about Section 31. We do know that somewhat because we saw that in one of the trailers. But the way it's cut, who knows? It just never knows. And Rhea says Georgia plus Section 31 equals match made in heaven.
Oh, yes, I agree. And now it seems like Shazad Latif is going to be on that show as well, which I am totally down for.
Here's my thing. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'll wait.
I was just going to say, because I love that guy. I think he's a great actor.
First of all, the tech that Section 31 has is absolutely fantastic, but you never see it again. And then to Brandy's point, at least we know the first two main characters for the Section 31 show that's that's going to premiere. So the question is, who else do they pick? Actually, 3, because you had the bald-headed guy that looks like Colonel Ty from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
No, he's much stockier than that actor.
but yeah, I get the first 3 characters, though. So the question is, who's next on the list?
Yes. Well, it's live what we're talking about. I'm just noticing was discussed in the chat probably right before we said it, but Liam Smart was saying about Section 31 being integrated with Starfleet at the moment, but by Deep Space Nine being assumed that's been disbanded, and Justin echoes that too. So, yeah, Neostar says they went underground. So, yeah, they had dug a big hole and went under.
Again, Space Mafia. They went underground. You're not supposed to know it's them.
I disagree. I disagree about the mafia thing, because do you honestly think that there are no clandestine agencies like that in the United States or in other parts of the world?
No, the United States is pure.
Yeah, do you honestly think that the worst we have is like the CIA?
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not saying that. The mafia thing is the thing that just came to my mind. Of course, there's the Green Berets, there's SEAL teams and whatever, but the mafia thing was just the first thing that popped in my head. I'm not just saying it's mafia and everything else.
Yeah. Well, and I understand because the hierarchies are very similar, but the way that I look at it is that it's, it's a rumor because they can go back and they can alter records however they want. They have basically no oversight whatsoever, except for whoever Control is. And I'm pretty sure that person doesn't have to really answer too much of anyone, because the more that other people know, the more danger their missions are in. So basically how I look at it is this. They have a pool of candidates that they pull from all different parts of Starfleet, and not just necessarily Starfleet. They look for people with certain skill sets. Maybe they have no family. Maybe they've been in prison, all of these things. And they're finding these people and cultivating them and putting them all together in their special teams, because that's what you would do if you were actually building a team. It would be an agency within another agency. That's how they hide. They can say they're Section 31, but does Section 31 actually really exist? Or is that just a front for what this really is? It's just, okay, my brain hurts now.
That's why I'm telling you to read the book, Section 31 Control.
They are on my Kindle. They're on my Kindle right now. I just haven't gotten to them yet.
And Dan Gunther at Kertrax Productions says that, as I mentioned earlier, David Mack says that Control is a reference that is not. I'm sorry. Let me back up. The Control reference is not to his novel, but it works. It really. They may not have done it intentionally, but it will. They'll work it in. I'm telling you, they will. Trust me on this. And Dan also says that. We're always good at reconning stuff, that Trekkies are nothing but not good at explaining inconsistencies, and just get Christopher L. Bennett to write a novel about why it's different. Because Christopher L. Bennett is so good at putting all the little pieces together and connecting dots. It's incredible. I'm pushing the books.
Oh, that's a good thing you guys brought up inconsistencies, because I don't know if it's a nitpick or maybe it's my headcanon. But follow me here. So we pick up 10 minutes after we arrive at Vulcan, or we're on the way to Vulcan. So we pick up this season 10 minutes after that. And supposedly, according to the web and Mary Chieffo, the Klingons are at peace so they can grow their hair out. Okay. Right. One. Does nobody get any sleep? Okay.
What does that mean?
Okay. Because everything's going on and on and on. Nobody gets any sleep. So everybody's up God knows how long, how many hours.
The only person getting sleep was you when you first watched this episode.
Oh!
Burn. Okay. I'll take it. Second of all, how long does it take for Klingons to really grow their hair? If you think about it.
Well, think about even like Alexander, how fast he grew.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think Klingons can grow their hair really quickly. And so can Ash Tyler, since he's
that's what I'm saying. Ash Tyler went from the John Travolta 70s bouffant with the beard to the Last Samurai with the ponytail and the beard itself in a matter of a day. If you look at it, at least a day, according to continuity, if you look at it that way. But that's my nitpick and my headcanon. Brandi, can you make sense of this, please?
Yes, because, and this may not necessarily be canon, and I cannot tell you in which novel it happened, but in a Star Trek novel, there was a situation where they stimulated the hair growth cells so that the hair grew at an accelerated rate that it wouldn't normally grow on a human. They not specifically the Klingons. No, I'm just saying that there are such things as hair stimulations in the Star Trek universe. And honestly, if you're a woman growing out your hair, you probably aren't going to want to wait while it's just like sticking straight out. I mean, how are you supposed to be taken seriously as a chancellor when you're basically a female Klingon with a buzz cut? So. I'm just guessing. Maybe it was vanity. I don't know. But I would be willing to bet that it was a situation where the growth was stimulated artificially instead of her naturally growing her hair out that quickly. Or she's wearing wigs. Could be that. We don't know.
So what you're saying is Captain Picard overslept on the day that they were giving out overgrown hair follicle genes to be injected into the person.
Nope. Actually, what happened with him is that he was he was just a proud bald man. He did not care. He gave zero cares about hair.
But they had enough sense to make medicine to grow hair, but still haven't found a cure for baldness in the 24th century.
Yeah, well, they still haven't found a cure for lots of things in the 24th century.
I'm just throwing out points here, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just, again, my headcanon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know, anyway. Brandi, you're growing your hair out.
Yeah, I'm growing out my gray, which you can't really see in the light. But
it's coming fast. I mean, you must be Klingon as fast as your hair is growing out.
The silver vixen.
Yeah.
No, I do like the conversation about the hair. yeah, who knows? Like, I guess it grows fast, whatever. We just need to accept it. It's
no,
there.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it.
I don't even really like how that played out, too, where Burnham says to Ash Tyler, oh, I hear the Klingons have grown out their hair now, now that the war's over. I would have wished that, I don't know. To me, it was just a call out just to go, hey, notice they got the hair. I don't know. I just wish it would have been something more like maybe Laurel saying something about her hair to Ash or something about now the war's over. We can now start growing our hair as a symbol, blah, 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 as to why. As opposed, I don't know.
Burnham didn't say it like that. She said, I heard that now the war is over. So it was a rumor, and he confirmed that it was true. But that was just a rumor. So
yeah, because everybody on the ship's like, hey, come here. Have you heard the Klingons are growing out their hair? Oh my gosh, seriously? Oh, I got to go tell so-and-so. Ooh, there's a rumor going.
No, that's gossip. There's difference between gossip. Actually, there's a very only slight difference between gossip and a rumor.
That is true, yes.
Have you ever
both of them get blown out of proportion as a general rule.
Have you ever walked by that chamber and you hear that strange baby sound? What the hell is that? No one ever knows. Do you think they had a kid? I don't know. Did they?
That had to be a soundproof room with the baby.
Oh, I'm sure that it was, and that's why the baby was there. I do like that Klingon cradles basically look like a fire pit that somebody just threw a kid into. Yeah, it's just, I looked at that and I thought that's the most Klingon thing I think I've ever seen. Is a baby in a fire pit.
And that Dave baby looked too content.
Yeah, Dave actually said, yeah, it looks like a fire pit. And then I started looking at other fire pits, that was happening actually in the scene where, they're having the big fight at the end with, Cole's dad that I can't remember the name of. And, there were actual fire pits and they're like, no, see, that's what a fire pit actually looks like. I was right. That's a cradle. So yeah, I was visually
totally
proven
enjoy
right.
the cinematics part of it all. I think this is turning out to be movie quality. The fight scene that you have in there has that John Woo action sequence type of thing that you would actually see in the movies, but they have it on TV, and the cinematics is following suit with the other two episodes. That's one thing I loved about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to keep up with that, and it does for sure. I love it. Hey, I saw in here, where is it? Oh, William Jackson said, "Baby had no batleth in the crib. Baby has no honor."
Ouch.
The other thing, Cole Shaw, who is the father of Cole.
You couldn't have said that when I was struggling for that name a few minutes ago, Bruce. Really?
I'm sorry. But that's played by Kenneth Mitchell, the same guy who played Cole.
Perfect.
I mean, and I could even tell
so
from his mannerisms and stuff.
Just his facial structure, just kind of offhandedly, like a not even a full thought, wow, that guy, yeah, could actually be Cole's dad.
I really felt bad for Kenneth Mitchell because his character got killed in season 1, and then I heard he was going to be back in season 2. I'm like, are they bringing his character back from the dead? Did he not really die? And then I go, oh, he's playing Cole's father. Brilliant. Now we get him for season 2, just playing a different character, and then he gets killed again.
Yeah.
So he won't be back anytime soon. Maybe. I don't know. They should have had him play the baby.
It was kind of interesting, and I may be overthinking this, but when Ash wiped the paint off of, say his name again?
Cole Shaw.
Cole Shaw.
Yeah.
Cole Shaw's face. I thought, that's awfully... They're focusing an awful lot on that, so I thought that would come into play later. And I thought what it was doing is they were putting like a Lady Macbeth thing going on with him because he couldn't get the paint off of his fingers. Even though he couldn't see it, he kept washing.
Yeah,
and then he kept rubbing at his fingers. And I'm like, are you thinking out damn spot? What's going on here? I got definitely a total Lady Macbeth vibe going on there. But
yeah,
actually,
I thought about that too. Yeah, for sure. But then it's actually, there's little receptors in there that he can listen. That's kind of weird. I mean, that's cool, but that's also kind of weird. Like, you can have like paint be a recording element of some type.
Well, if you put certain things in it, you can. Apparently.
I guess so.
I don't think that that's always in that pain. I think he just did it purposely and then goaded Ash and Lorella into wanting to wipe it off. So,
well, I guess, yeah, you can have transmitters, microphones, whatever, as your husband Dave is saying in the chat. I guess you could have that in paint, but I wouldn't want those Klingons painting my house because then I feel like everybody's listening to me.
Big brother watching.
Yeah, and what's the power source? Dave mentions that too. That's just, I'm not saying you couldn't, nothing like that couldn't exist. I just find that really interesting.
Yeah.
I bet Section 31 could use some of that paint.
Yeah, probably. Who knows? Maybe they developed it. Maybe this was all an orchestration by Section 31 to get Ash and the baby off the planet so that L'Rell could function independently and keep the peace, because it's in the Federation's best interest if the Klingons are at peace.
Yep.
The only thing I have about Kenneth Mitchell is it's this generation's J.G. Hertzler. That's the only thing I can think of. And then also playing Cole in season 1 and Cole Shaw in season 2 would lead to a Cole Gate. Sorry, that was kind of funny. That was a Bruce joke. Oh
my gosh, come on. You said that and I was like, oh, at least not the other one telling bad jokes, and then you throw that on me as like a Bruce joke. It was good. Yeah, nanobots. That's true. Like the nanos, like that's the same type of thing.
Like the Borg
William Jackson mentions that.
Yeah, nanites.
Nanites,
Yes, nanites, exactly. Yeah. Okay. What else is going on? Hey, we had some other characters in this episode too. Like
we did.
Who? What?
We did.
We did. Like Amanda.
Yay! I love Amanda.
Do you? What is it that you love about her?
I don't know. I feel like she just embodies the character really well. And she walks this fine line between someone who has, been raised with basic, normal human traditions and then married a Vulcan and now is living on Vulcan. And just, I just find her compassionate and conflicted and interesting. And, what she said about not being able to give Spock the love that she wanted to give him. And so she gave it all to Michael. That just broke my heart. It hurt me so much for her because it just, and for her to just look on her face when she's saying that is just, I don't know I can't explain in mere words why she has that effect on me, but to me, she is Amanda, period. Yes, it's a different actress than what we've seen in the past because you kind of have to do that when you're doing a prequel, but I feel she embodies the character beautifully.
Yeah, I think she's a perfect Amanda. I totally buy into her, even more so than Winona Ryder in the Kelvin timeline. Because she was like shoplifting in that movie. Yeah, too.
Well, here's the thing. For me, and this is just for me, Winona Ryder has never been able to convince me that she's anyone besides Winona Ryder. Plus, I was also irritated that they couldn't bother to get an of-age actress and instead put old-age makeup on Winona Ryder. That really annoyed me.
Okay, in her defense, she had earlier scenes that were cut where she's playing a younger Amanda. She gives birth to Spock. There was a scene on that. So there were several things where she was playing at her age. And then there was the scene that comes later where then she plays Amanda as being older. So if those other scenes would have remained, it would have made more sense.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I still do not like her acting. There is nothing that she has ever done where I have felt like I'm watching anything but just Winona Ryder being Winona Ryder.
Beetlejuice.
So, yeah.
I love Beetlejuice.
I absolutely detest that film. So, again, not going to win me over.
All right, let's get back to Amanda then.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know I'm weird. It's a beloved movie, but I could not wait for it to be over. So, sorry, guys. So sorry.
I have fond memories of taking a girl out on a first date in college to that movie. So I don't know why I mentioned that, but I just remembered that.
Well, it's a fun memory.
I remember asking this girl out on a date, and that's what we went to. It was really cool. So what was I going to say? I love when Pike says to Amanda about Burnham, you know, was she always a bossy kid? Was she bossy as a kid? And she's like, she's persistent. She learned that from me. I love that whole exchange there.
Oh, yeah. And the look on her face when she says it. And Pike learned right then, okay, we do not mess with Amanda. Got it. We don't mess with Burnham. We don't mess with Amanda. I'm on board with that. There is one other thing that I want to bring up, and it's actually a Michael moment, because when they're talking and she's explaining that it wasn't the vision that made Spock different, that made him withdraw, that, you know, caused his whole demeanor to change. And Michael admitted that it was something that she did, because the logic extremists were trying to get to Sarek. If they couldn't get to Sarek, they were going to go after Spock, and he was her little shadow. And she had to wound him. And then Amanda asks, what did you do? And Michael doesn't say a word.
Yes.
She doesn't say a word. She communicates everything with her face. And that there are so many emotions that go on her face in just that few seconds. It was absolutely amazing.
I agree. There's a lot being communicated without words.
Yes. And it's fantastic.
And there's more to come for sure. I mean, if anything, it got my interest of like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Let's get to the next episode. I want to know what's going on between her and Spock and what she did to him. And yeah, this whole thing is really interesting to me. Justin says he likes Child Spock seeing the Red Angel. I think other people were saying that too.
Yes,
what do you guys think of that?
I'm still, well, it's only confusing things more for me, because I still don't have enough information to see a pattern forming, except for Red Angels seem to show up when someone is in trouble. But I don't yet understand why. And now I'm starting to think, I mean, it still could possibly be the Iconians, but now I'm starting to think that there is also possibly quantum realities coming into this, or time travel, or something. I just can't be more concrete about it, because I just still do not have enough information. I was hoping I was going to get more and finally establish a pattern, but the only pattern that I can establish is now 3 instances of a Red Angel appearing when someone is in danger, or when a group of people is in danger.
Yeah, I don't think it's the temporal Cold War.
No, I don't think that either. For heaven's sake, I wasn't going to say temporal Cold War.
But, you know, there are some people I'm noticing in the chat, they're mentioning about time travel could be a part of this also. So that, I don't know. I don't think that it is in my gut. I think this is something different and new.
I think I'm along the lines with Brandi in a way. I think it's like a Quantum Leap-esque type thing where someone is bringing the crew to a place to either heal, investigate, solve a problem, whatever this case may be. I think it's more or less like a Quantum Leap type thing. Also, I mean, I remember there's talk about Telosians that we may get later on, that it's probably something to do with them too. That's on the minor scale in my headcanon, but it's more or less the Quantum Leap theory that someone's out there and someone's telling them, and this Red Angel is the Al, I guess you would say, for Quantum Leap purposes, to investigate, solve, and move right along to the next one. But I mean, we're 3 down and 4 to go.
Yeah. I have to hurry and grab Amy Nelson's comment because I have a response to it. Amy says, hi, Amy. I don't understand how Amanda can regret her, quote, wrongdoing with Spock and then not forgive Michael for what she did to Spock. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as, oh, I came to you for help and now I realize that you're not the one that has to do this. It has to be me. And she went into Mama Bear mode, is what she did. I didn't see it as her punishing Michael, more that it was determination that now she knows she's the only one who can do what needs to be done.
I kind of lean more towards Amy's perception of that, but it differed each time I watched it because I wasn't sure if I was reading it right. There was one time that I thought she's mad at Burnham for what she did to Spock that caused this rift in their family, because she basically accused this is the action that happened that caused the four of us to not be close anymore. And then when Burnham's like, I need to go find Spock, and Amanda gives her a kiss and says, no, I will. And it's almost like this, I'm going to do it, not you, I'm going to. But then I saw it again another time, and I read it a little differently, where I felt she was saying, it was almost as if I send you, Burnham, that's not going to help Spock because there's a rift between you. So it's got to be me. No, not you. I've got to handle it. So that's how I read it the second time.
And see, I read it that way the first time, even though I thought it was kind of, it was kind of brusque the way Amanda left, but it wasn't really brusque. It was determination. She had already come aboard Discovery because she knew Spock needed their help, and the only person she could come to was Michael. And I think now she understands that Michael is constrained by her loyalty to Starfleet so that she can't completely do what is necessary. So I think that went into her decision as well. And I think that, yes, what Michael told her was a shock to her. And she was now thinking, okay, this puts a lot of things into perspective, and I need time to process this. So, but I don't think she was angry at Michael. I think it was a matter of, I can't deal with this right now. You can't be the one to go to him because you have this rift between you. I'm the person that can get this done. So I'm going to get it done because that's what moms do.
Yeah, I'm along the lines with Brandi on this too, is I think that Amanda feels that she's the cause of the rift between Spock and Burnham, and that, there's something that needs to be done, neither of whom the mama bear doesn't want the kids to take care of their own. The mama bear feels protected, and that she has to go out and, and solve the issue for them, to have that motherly thing. And I think that's what I like about Amanda, is that the constant walking the line, as you guys said earlier, is walking the line of, is she the mom to the Vulcan, or is she the mom to the Earth, to the human, or can you be a mom to both? With and that's what it is. But I think she's taking on the task because she feels there's a burden and only she can relieve it for the two children.
And I do like a comment that Justin mentioned, that it's not so much that Amanda would be mad at what Burnham did, but she's sad about what happened.
Yeah, she is sad because they're both her children, regardless of, being related genetically or not. That's not what makes a family. And Michael is, for all intents and purposes, her daughter, her child. She raised her. And so she's just as much part of the family as Spock is. And also, I think, because she was so upset and felt that Amanda was so upset and felt that it was her fault that Spock had turned into what he had because she withheld love, she now knows that it wasn't her. And she also you've got to be thinking this as a mother. You got to be thinking, I got to find him and I've got to make up for all that lost time. I now have to give him the love that I was not allowed to give him when he was a child.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
I notice Tara Steiner says that I got a little emotional when Michael called Amanda mother. The writers have done a great job explaining Burnham's complicated relationship with her parents, and everybody in the chat is agreeing with that statement.
Yep. It was beautiful. It was just every scene that Amanda's in, I'm just captivated by her, and the chemistry between her and Michael is beautiful as well. Yeah, it's just, yeah. And I understand that not everybody's into family drama, but I think that this goes bigger than family drama. We just don't know the connection yet.
Yeah. Amy had mentioned then she still doesn't understand what Michael was saying, why she did what she did to Spock. I don't think we got the full answer, but whatever she did was to protect Spock from the logic extremists.
Well, remember the logic extremists that tried to kill Sarek in Lethe?
Right.
So obviously, Michael thought they were a danger.
Well, they were a danger to Michael, too.
Yeah, they were a danger to Michael, but not in the same way that Spock was.
Right.
Because Spock actually had Vulcan DNA.
Right.
So
but it sounds like whatever those extremists were doing were also trying to do something to Spock. And she did something to protect him from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is she made him hate her. She wounded him so deeply that he never recovered. That's all we know. We don't know what she did yet. I'm sure it will come out.
Yeah, well, Neo Star 9 says, remember the whole school bombing that she was involved in? Not the first one, but there was something that happened on Vulcan. There was a bombing that burned. He says after the school, she was at the bombed and she was targeted. That would have been from the extremists. Possibly.
Yeah.
Is that what that was? Or did we ever find out what that was? It was that, wasn't it?
I believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it definitely wasn't humans, the school. But yeah, the logic extremists have been a problem for some time now, and apparently still are as far as Discovery's timeline so far. So it's, yeah. And Amy says, so attack the children? Yes, attack the children. Because the children are the future.
Can we just at least acknowledge Cybok in this? Because honestly, that character would fit into what's going on with the extremists.
I'm pretty sure just about everybody wants to write him out of the canon. Unfortunately, you can't. If everything that's on screen is canon, well, sorry.
I want Cybok, just saying.
Okay. Cybok could be the extremist.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about this episode.
Well, oh gosh, you're right. He couldn't he? Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can't go there. That's a whole other thing.
Here's the tree. Here are the branches. Here are the other branches. There's so many.
We got to talk about Tilly. We didn't talk about Tilly enough for my taste last week, and so I want to talk more about Tilly.
The floor is yours.
Mwahaha. Well, see, yeah, that was Chekhov's spore, so I knew that was going to get paid off at some point in season 2. And I was not disappointed because I had already thought and expressed that thought to Dave that she was being communicated with by an alien presence. And, we basically figured out the spore at some point. But in any case, I felt so bad for Tilly because, everything having to do with Tilly. Okay, to be fair, last weekend I read The Way to the Stars and I cried through most of it because it triggered so many childhood memory traumas that it was actually very difficult for me to get through. It was a wonderful book. Do not get me wrong. I absolutely recommend it. And it gives wonderful, wonderful context for Tilly today.
And just real quick, we have Una McCormick on Lyric Treks coming out Sunday if you want to hear the author talk about that book.
Yes, I cannot wait. I'm so happy. So when Tilly has her meltdown on the bridge during the mirror or the shadow exercise, and she quits and she goes to her quarters, and this is after, Michael's had her interaction with Amanda, and Amanda goes off to save Spock. And, Michael sits up and she's like, Saru's been trying to reach you. Are you okay? And she's not okay. And Tilly's like, have you been crying? And now they're both trying to help each other. Mm. And I love so much that that's how their relationship is now, that they trust each other that much. It's like, no, my problems don't matter. I need to help you. And it's just like Michael says, I need a problem I can solve right now. She wants to fix something, anything, to take her mind off of what's going on with her. And then just Tilly finally coming clean and saying all this stuff. And it was just breaking my heart. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything with Tilly is triggering childhood trauma memories, which is okay. It's really okay, because that's why I love Tilly. And I was just so proud of her for finally just admitting to Michael what was going on. And then Michael, being logical and saying, "What? She doesn't know what tears are. That's not possible." And then she's breaking it down by logic so that, and I never thought Tilly was going insane, but obviously a lot of people did, including Tilly. She thinks she's got an unfit mind. She even says that May is a representation of an unfit mind, and she can't have that when she's on the command track. And so, Michael finally has something to solve. And so she's like, "No, you don't need sickbay. You need Stamets." And I'm just like, yes. But Tilly still has this look on her face like it's too good to be true. She was so convinced that she was going insane, and she hasn't quite let go of that and realized that it's not that. And I don't think she even fully believes it until Stamets finds the organism, the multidimensional organism in her body.
Yeah, I kind of didn't feel like maybe she fully believed it, but she had hope that was true.
She had hope. Yeah. But I know what it's like to have hope, but be also completely convinced that it could also just be the things she thinks it is, that she's going crazy. So, because I've been there. I've done that. So, not with an organism in my body, but the same kind of situation where I'm convinced I'm going crazy, or I'm convinced that something is happening, and then someone gives me hope that, oh no, that's not actually the way it is. And I have hope that it is that way, but I can't really believe it until it's proven to me.
And I love that scene too, where she's talking to Burnham, and just Burnham's reaction to her is very supportive and smiling and positive, and as opposed to being more Vulcan-like and just very stoic and just, well, Tilly, logic would just say that this is what's happening. And she's just more like, "Hey, Tilly, think about it." And I love the energy that she put into the character, that we hadn't really seen that much of that kind of positive energy out of Burnham in the first season. And I think this is a great progression of that character. And I was surprised that they're still roommates, because I assumed going into season 2, now that Burnham's back to being a commander and Tilly is now went from cadet to ensign, that the only reason they were put together is because Tilly was a cadet and Burnham was decommissioned. She didn't have a rank. She really wasn't even part of Starfleet anymore. But I thought then, now she's a full commander, she would get her own quarters. So they're still roommates, which I want to believe that they requested to stay together.
I absolutely believe they requested to stay together. Why? I mean, they've developed this bond that is now unbreakable. They have each other's backs. They trust each other implicitly, no matter what, but I understand why Tilly kept, May a secret for so long. Well, it wasn't long for us, but it was probably relatively long as far as actual time passing on Discovery. And I think because Tilly's been let down so many times by people that it was hard for her to admit that she might be not good enough, because she's already had plenty of that from her mother, as we saw in Runaway. So, and also read The Way to the Stars by Una McCormick.
Yes.
But she trusts Michael, not anybody else. She doesn't trust Saru. She doesn't trust Pike. She doesn't trust, I'm not saying she doesn't trust them to some degree. She obviously does. But with this deepest, darkest secret, the one person she trusts is Michael. And she finally comes clean. Not to anyone else. Just Michael. That's why they're still roommates.
Would you say it's the other way around too? That Tilly's the one that Michael trusts?
I think that Michael trusts other people, but there is a different level of trust between Tilly and Michael.
Yeah.
It's a bond that you cannot create. It's with every single person. It's just something special and beautiful. And I think they know how lucky they are to have it. Mm-hmm. And again, that's why they're still roommates.
Hey, Christopher Littlefield says, did anyone else think briefly that May was referring to Kirk when she described the captain? So when she's on the bridge, she's like, that's not the captain. That's not the captain. The captain has lighter hair and is, whatever. And I didn't think she was referring to Kirk, but my wife did. My wife turned to me and she goes, is she talking about Kirk? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, I was like, no, I never thought of that. But
it didn't even cross my mind.
Me either. But
Dave thought she was talking about Lorca, but I'm like, no, he's not. He wasn't blonde though.
Yeah.
So I was. But
I also didn't think of Stamets either.
I didn't immediately think of Stamets, but the more that she was talking about how he was a lot paler, that's when I thought, oh wait, maybe it is Stamets.
I thought she was talking about me.
Yeah, she's talking about you. You're the captain now.
I'm the captain. Oh my gosh, we've already been an hour. There's just so much. We can't get to it all.
There's too much. I mean, even if you want to expand on the Tilly thing also, when May keeps calling her Stilly, my head canon again just exploded and went Stilly and Team Stilly and then Team Stamets and Tilly. Not so much of a kid nickname from junior high school, but putting Stamets and Tilly together, being that, they were dealing with the spores and the spore drive and blah, 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 and put them two together. And that's how the nickname came about.
No, it's because her first name is Sylvia and starts with an S, so she's S. Tilly.
Well, yeah, that's what I assumed too. But Chris has an interesting theory, though. Because
I love that more.
The ST and Stamets, and then T starting Tilly. It's like,
yeah, I like that more as headcanon.
It's like
I'm
we're
not sure
shipping
that's
the two of them.
Yeah, I don't.
I just want to go on record and say thank you, Bruce and Brandi. Thank you for crushing my well thought out point for the last.
Hey, no,
I support it. I like it. It's
I'm saying thank you, Bruce. I'm just saying.
Okay. I thought.
No, look.
I'm not used to being thanked, including with Brandi in a thank you. But anyway, go on. What, Brandi?
I do not know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking. It's late.
Yeah, I know the feeling. So here's the thing. I like the whole Stamets Tilly thing being Stilly better than I like what the writers, I think, intended, which is that, that's how that nickname came about, was S. Tilly. And Tilly, well, it wasn't until later, if you go by the book, sorry, I'm referencing the book so much that she just wanted to be called Tilly. She didn't want to be called Sylvia because her mother calls her Sylvia and she doesn't want to be called Sylvia. So
I always assume, yes, and we talk about that with Una, by the way, in that interview about the names. One thing I always assumed, it wasn't that it was Sylvia Tilly necessarily, and that's where Stilly came in. I assumed she probably was nicknamed Silly Tilly, and then they just shortened it Silly Tilly to Stilly.
Yeah, there is that. That. So there are much more interesting headcanons to go with than just boring S's for Sylvia, and that's why it's Stilly. So although I don't think that's what the writers intended, I would much rather it be because it's Stamets and Tilly, Team Stamets and Tilly, and just call them Stilly. I'd much rather that.
Maybe we should.
But the thing is that the organism didn't know what Stamets' name was, so that's why I don't think the writers intended that. But I'm willing to alter my headcanon to fit that in. So thanks, Chris.
Well, maybe we should start that hashtag. Stilly, Team Stilly might actually work.
Yeah.
Did they put up a T-shirt yet on the Star Trek store of Stilly shirts?
If they do, I'm having it. So
I would love that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we do have to cut this short. Well, not cut it short, but we need to cut it off. We've gone an hour, but of course we have other The Edge episodes where we'll get deeper into the episodes with the other hosts. But before we go, Chris, is there anything else about this episode that you really wanted to discuss that we haven't talked about? Well,
I really wish we didn't have to cut this short like they cut Ash's head. But I really truly enjoyed this episode. I'm starting to truly enjoy all three episodes so far, as it's, again, cinematic and we're starting to see the bridge crew more. We're starting to see a lot of more interaction, and we're finally getting to the heart of the matter with Tilly and the Spore, and how, this is all going to play out, and who knows about the Red Angel. And we only have 4 more dots to go before we connect the dots. See what I did there? Another Bruce joke. Honestly, I mean, I enjoyed the whole thing front to back.
So did I. Brandi, would you say the same?
Absolutely. There was so much has happened in every episode. I think the most happened in this episode because we had 3 different stories going on, and almost 4 different stories going on. And so there was so much to process and so much to take in. And that's why I love doing this show, is that we hash these things out together. We haven't had a lot of time to think about it. And so there are things that we bring to light, that you guys bring to light, that I hadn't thought about. I hope maybe there's some things I brought to light that you guys maybe hadn't thought about. And it's a process of discovery as we're doing this podcast. I'm sorry. That was terrible.
Touché,
oh my gosh.
Touché.
Now you're doing Bruce jokes too.
Hey, I've been around you too long, Bruce. Look what you've done.
I know. From here on out, I'm going to call you Mother.
Oh, actually, I would be very happy about that. I actually knew that was the word that was going to come out of her mouth.
I did
because
too.
she said, she would only bear a child once. Now you are my children. And I'm like, she wanted something more fierce, and I'm like, well, there ain't nothing more fierce than mother. So that's what she says. Also, I have to point out one thing very, very quickly. I loved it when she was speaking in Klingon. There were English subtitles, and then she starts speaking English, and it switches for a few seconds to Klingon subtitles. I'm just like, oh my word.
Yes.
Everyone that speaks Klingon and reads Klingon is just losing their minds right now.
I love that part too. Yes. Absolutely. That's just as good as when we've started to see things now where somebody's speaking with a universal translator.
Yeah.
And
yes.
we hear the actual language overlaid then with English or standard, It kind of reminds me of that too. So, okay. Yeah. So we'll, Amy, I promise, I know you're here in the chat and asking, we're going to tell everybody about all the other shows on the edge and who those hosts are. But before we do that, Chris, tell us where people can find you online.
You could find me online. I pop in on the Babel conference from time to time. You could also find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @TrekFanLV. The T to F LNV are capital. And here in Las Vegas, you can find me on the street corners with a cardboard sign that says "We'll Trek for Food." That's every place that you can find me. So.
And I have met Chris in person in Las Vegas, and that must be true then. I guess that's when I ran into you. I thought it was STLV, but maybe it wasn't that.
No, it was STLV, and I had the sign that said, "Hi, Bruce. How many times are you going to mention literary treks on podcasts?"
Yeah. See, you just did. Hey, so I was in Vegas last month, and Amy and I got together, and I know she reached out to you. I'm sorry it didn't work out for us all 3, but next time.
No, next time, definitely. I also want to mention that, for those that don't know, on Facebook, I did reach out to Amy and some other Babel Conference listeners, along with some mutual friends of ours. And we did a little trek together, 2019, where we all got together at a restaurant and talked trek and had a lot of fun. We do have another one coming up. I'll put that announcement out tomorrow. But I would love for you two to come on down and hang out. It'd be absolutely fantastic.
I will see what I can do on that. It's not exactly easy for me to get time off of work. So and for me, I make it work. So, I'll have to look at the dates for NAB because it's in Vegas every year, the National Association of Broadcasters.
Right. Yeah. I know that's coming up.
Yeah. So maybe then.
Yeah, maybe then. Definitely.
All right. So, Brandi, do your closing. I'm just curious if you had any thoughts as to how you're going to read it this time, because this seems to be a very popular feature now on the show.
I have no idea why. It's absolutely ridiculous every time. So there was one thing I was thinking I was going to do, but I don't think I've had enough practice at it yet. Sorry, Dave. So I'm going to actually take a suggestion from somebody else. You know who you are. So, here we go. Be sure to check out our Discovery coverage throughout the week. Live from the Edge airs on Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Our commentary will be available as tracks from the Edge. We'll discuss your feedback on postcards from the Edge. You can catch the full analysis on the Edge main show. And join us for Notes from the Edge with our own Chris Jones for links between Discovery and the broader franchise. You'll find all of these in the main feed for the Edge and in the Trek.fm master feed. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Discovery. The best place to do that is the Babel Conference, our listeners group on Facebook. And Amy Nelson will collect your feedback from the postcards from the Edge. And you can find us on Twitter at TrekFM or send us email using the contact form on our website at trek.fm/contact. Choose to send to a show and choose the Edge. We'd also like to thank our associate producers, Norman C. Lau, Tony Robinson, Thomas Puleo, Lisa Slack, Shoab Mirza, Richard Rutledge, James Muldrow, Cornelia Reutner, Ryan Maylett, some guy named Chris Trebuzio, and Brian Milosh. If you'd like to help us keep all of our shows going and even become an AP, visit patreon.com/TrekFM for all the details.
No, leave me alone. Shut up. That's my
You're
Tilly.
not the captain. The captain is shorter and blonder and very pale.
You mean Kirk?
No, he's not that pale.
Amy. I was just thinking Amy because I was reading her comments.
I'm Dark Amy. I am Dark Amy. It's
Dark
been...
Amy, let me tell you something. That was perfect. That was great. Everybody in the chat loved it. That was
on point.
I didn't think you could top last week. You know, you're raising the bar each episode.
Oh no, that's so bad because eventually I am going to just fall because you can't raise the bar forever.
No, but that was good. That was really great. That made my day.
I'm crying right now. It took so much of me to hold it in. I couldn't even do nose rockets. I mean,
That's again. I'll die. I will die.
I gotta do this. I gotta do this just for the end. Hold on, because this is on video, so I gotta do this for Patrick. This is for Patrick Devlin, my brother from New York. So hopefully he's watching the video feed.
Oh, okay, there we go. Chris, just all the smoke just came out of his nose. See, this is why everybody needs to watch the show. Even if you can't join us live, go on YouTube. You can watch. You can even fast forward to the end. If you're listening to the podcast, go to the end and see that. And next week, Brandy's going to do the same thing, but with milk.
No, I am not. No, I am not.
As associate producer, I think I have a little bit of a word in this here, so I'm going to go ahead and say, I dare you.
You know what? I don't respond to dares, but
I would like you to. I would like.
I really, honestly, if milk came out of my nose, it would not be just milk, and that would be really, really gross. And I don't want to clean it up, frankly. Sorry.
I would like you to. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can like me too all you want, but that doesn't mean that I am going to put milk in my nose for you.
Okay, before the show gets any worse, Brandi, where can people find you online if they want to see you snorting milk out your nose? She can't talk right now. She's on Twitter at Dark Amy Milk Nose.
Dark Amy Milk Nose Rockets. I'm starting that account. Nobody steal that. I will kill you. Dark Amy Milk Nose Rockets. That's going to be me. So, but really right now, it's Brandi112 on Twitter. You can find me lurking in the Babel Conference. You can find me on the Dark Corner Podcast at darkcornerpodcast.com with my wonderful husband, Dave, talking about stuff and things. There are swears on that one, so beware.
Okay. And you can follow me on Twitter if you want to see me do rockets with spaghetti out of my nose. You can find me at Admiral_Rex. People do that. They'll put spaghetti up their nose and like up and down, like move it around. It's really weird. I've
Dude,
never done it.
just
Trek
get a
FM's
neti
got
pot
talent.
and fix that.
Hey, you know what? I'm on podcasts. Find me somewhere. Literary Trek, Star Wars Report, whatever. I'm in the Babel conference. So, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us here live on the Edge. We'll see you again next week. Remember, we go live Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We'd love for you to join us. Join the chat and have fun with us, and we'll just keep going. So, Chris, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. It's been fun, and sorry I wasn't too vocal, but you guys are great. Fantastic.
I know you've joined the chat before.
Yes, I have, and I missed last week, but I was on the chat before, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, everyone. And what do we say? Live long and prosper.
And keep calm and boom on. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.